Keek on the mic, Keek on the mic. Keek on the mic, Keek on the mic. People, this the intro.
Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you also follow me on all my social media platforms to stay connected with all Keek on the Mic news. So Bears fans, prior to OTAs, we all knew that there were a couple of players on the team that were eligible for contract extensions going into the season. Some of those players include Jalen Johnson, Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, and even Chase Claypool is actually due for a contract extension as soon as this year. But according to some reports, the Chicago Bears are also eyeing an extension for Trevis Gipson. This is according to Matt Lombardo of Heavy.com. He mentioned that the Bears could be on the verge of signing Gipson to a contract extension. A source also told Heavy.com that they like him a lot. That's why they drafted interior help rather than taking an edge rusher. Bears fans, I'll be completely honest with you. When I look at a player like Trevis Gipson, even though he really struggled last season where he only had 3 sacks for the Chicago Bears defense, I truly think that Trevis Gipson still has a whole lot of potential and has a lot to offer to the Chicago Bears defensive line. When you look back in 2021, Trevis Gipson had 7 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. If you guys remember correctly, that's when Trevis Gipson actually replaced an injured Khalil Mack. He was on the opposite side of Robert Quinn, but obviously when we traded away Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn, he really struggled this past season where he only had 3 sacks for this very bad Chicago Bears pass rush. So he wasn't really able to build on that momentum he gained back in 2021. And that left a lot of question marks on where does Trevis Gipson fit in to the Chicago Bears defense. And a lot of Bears fans, even including myself at some points, were hoping that Ryan Poles would continue to add to the Chicago Bears defensive line, especially in terms of edge rushers. We did add Rasheem Green. We did add DeMarcus Walker to come in and help the edge rush. But we were still hoping for maybe more in the draft. Just like I mentioned, we did not draft any edge rushers in this past NFL draft. We opted to go interior defensive line, meaning that the Chicago Bears and Ryan Poles still have a whole lot of faith, not only in guys like Trevis Gipson, but in guys like Dominic Robinson as well. And Bears fans, I just want to make this very clear to you guys. Just because the Chicago Bears and Ryan Poles may be interested in extending Trevis Gipson doesn't mean a deal is in place whatsoever. Gipson, we all know this, Trevis Gipson will need to perform well in 2023 to earn that deal. And that goes for all players. That goes for Chase Claypool. That goes for Darnell Mooney. And that obviously goes for Jalen Johnson as well. Anyone that is up for a contract extension with the Chicago Bears or in general is not just going to be handed an extension just because their name, right? They're going to have to prove why Ryan Poles should hand them a whole lot of money in order to keep them here in Chicago as a Chicago Bear. So that means nothing will be different in terms of Trevis Gipson. If in fact Ryan Poles does hand him a contract extension, he will need to perform well in 2023 to earn a contract extension from the Chicago Bears. And per Heavy.com, the belief is Chicago could ink Gipson to a big money contract extension if he has a bounce back campaign in 2023. They also added, I think if he can get somewhere between 7 and double-digit sacks, that should be enough to get a deal done. And Bears fans, I'll be honest with you, by all means, if Trevis Gipson can perform at a high level and get us around 7 to 8 sacks, I'm not looking for double-digit sacks. I'm looking for 7 to 8 sacks and can get after the quarterback consistently pressure the quarterback in 2023, that would be enough for me to give Trevis Gipson a contract extension. We need him to be dominant, and being dominant doesn't always mean double-digit sacks. Being dominant means 7 to 8 sacks, right? Being dominant means being able to consistently pressure the quarterback and contribute in different ways. When you look at a guy like Khalil Mack, for example, the reason why he's great is that sometimes he doesn't always get to the quarterback, but he does certain things that helps his teammates get the sack, right? So that's what we need from a guy like Trevis Gipson. If he can do those things, which we know he has the capability to do, because back in 21, just like I mentioned earlier in this episode of Keek on the Mic, the guy has potential. He had 7 sacks. He had five forced fumbles. He was constantly in the backfield. And a lot of that reason was because he had Robert Quinn on the other side. He had Khalil Mack on the other side when he came back, right? But when those guys got traded away and they left, he had Dominique Robinson on the other side. So there was a lot more pressure on a guy like Trevis Gipson to be that guy. And he kind of crumbled under that pressure. But doesn't mean that Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus are going to give up on him. They want to see how he's going to respond, how he's going to bounce back, what he did in the offseason to hopefully get better, to hopefully be that guy for the Chicago Bears defense. Because we all know that this is the weakness of the football team. So we really need guys like Trevis Gipson and Dominique Robinson to step up to hopefully make this pass rush a whole lot better for the Chicago Bears defense. So if Trevis Gipson can in fact come back and have a bounce back year in 2023 for the Chicago Bears defense, I would absolutely love for the Chicago Bears to extend him, to keep him as a Bear for long term. But until he proves that, we all understand that this edge rushing group for the Chicago Bears football team is the weakness, and that Trevis Gipson still has a whole lot to prove until the Chicago Bears do in fact just hand him all this money to keep him in Chicago long term. Before I let you guys go, Bears fans, let me ask you guys this. Would you guys want the Chicago Bears to extend Trevis Gipson if he has a bounce back year in 2023? Let me know down below in the comment section. Before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Kick on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, back for all new podcasts right here on Kick on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You've been listening to Keek on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.